Hi students, welcome to another exciting session of healthcare entrepreneurship. Today we are going to study about product proposals, their deployment and finally how you can launch startups. So let's get started. So what is a product proposal? What is the need of a product proposal? So product proposal is typically written document that defines the goals of your product business and describes how you will attain those goals. So it has everything from like your product offering to how you're going to commercialize, who your customers are, what your team members look like. So everything comes together in a product proposal, right? It identifies key areas of your businesses so that you can maximize the time you spend on generating income. Okay. The key investors would like to look at your product proposals before providing capital. So this is typically where a lot of these VCs and investors would like to take a look at your product proposal as a whole, right, before they fund you. It also helps you start and keeping your product business on a successful path. So otherwise, if you don't have a clear path or plan in place, then it's difficult, right? So on the right, you're basically looking at product proposal, which is encompassing the market research, business model which we have developed, the marketing planning, long term goals, team building efforts which we have done as a part of our entrepreneurial journey, the development strategy, trend analysis and personal resources. So everything put together is considered as a part of the product proposal, right? So 10 reasons why you need a strong product proposal. First and the very important reason is to attract investors. Second is to see if your product ideas will work, right? If your proposals are outrightly rejected by several of the investors and customers whom you showcase this to, then most likely your proposal is not very ready or not very good, right? In order to outline each aspect of the product, you want to make sure that through your product proposal, anybody is as simple as in the layman terms is able to understand what your product offerings are, what the design and attributes and other details are, right? To set up clear milestones, you want to make sure that you have milestones of what you are going to do in your business, right? Like 6 months from now or a year from now and so forth. To learn about the market, somebody would like to know about what is there in the market and what is the key difference which you're offering through your product, right? To secure additional funding or loans, this is one of the primary requirement. Also to determine your financial needs, like sometimes you need a product proposal to figure out what do you actually need in terms of finances, right? We have talked about this at length, but this is all our aspects coming together what we have learned in the course so far, which comes into your product proposal, right? To attract top level people. By top level people, we do not always mean like that customers who can pay a lot. No, that's not the only purpose. It's like top level people, meaning like there are investors and people who can buy your product in bulk, or be an influencer who can put a word of mouth, right, like out. To monitor your product business and to devise contingency plans. So you need a product proposal to make sure that you have some exit plans, contingency plans if things go wrong. The investors would also like to see that, so do the customers, right? Like they want to make sure that your product, if something goes wrong and with the parts which you offer, like which are part of your products, right? Some supply demand issue or something goes on, how are you going to tackle that, right? So it creates a transparency and a mode of communication between the entrepreneur and the customers as well as with the investors, right? So that's the overall goal of the product proposal. So how detailed should your plan be? Like, is it something which should be 20 pages or 50 pages, or should it be more than 100 pages, right? So product proposals differ widely in their length, appearance, content and emphasis placed on different aspects of the product, right? So in certain products are so much intellectual property heavy that you want to put a lot of details about how this is very uniquely technical, right? And some products are very marketing heavy, that the idea or the offering is not very unique. It has a few unique features, but the overall marketing and strategy is much more important. So depending on what your specific product is, and this applies to services as well, right? Like, so this is a product slash service proposal. So depending on what your offerings are, it can vary in length. The 7 most common parts of a good product proposal which you should have for sure are as follows. The first one is an executive summary, right? We will take up all these points what they are individually. Second is the business concept. Third is market analysis. Have you done a clear cut market analysis to understand what the market demands are? How is your management team? Are you a one man army, or like are you having a team of members who are extremely experienced, or you have a few folks from the industry who have a lot of experience? What is your management team looking like? The marketing plan, the financial plan, and finally your operations and management plan, right? So these 7 components are a must in any product or service proposal, right? Let's go ahead. So let's talk about the executive summary, which is part 1. For an executive summary for a product is introduction to your product proposal. Basically, it kind of introduces to the investors or the customers what is the problem in the society, what are you trying to solve, and what is the market looking like, and then finally based on all these 3 parameters, how you are going to conquer the market, or offer something which is very, very unique and which is going to be commercializable, right? So the executive summary is very critical because many individuals, including venture capitalists, may only read this summary. They are extremely busy folks, right? Like they may be reviewing 50 proposals in a day, right? So they just look at your executive summary and may make a decision in their mind that I don't need to look more into this proposal. That's how decisions are made, right? Just FYI. So we want to make sure that executive summary, which is the face of your proposal, looks really attractive and very clean and clear, right? Like it should be exactly sending the message which you would like the product to send to the investors, right? The executive summary section includes your business name and location. So that's already standard what you have previously defined. A brief explanation of the problem, right? A brief about the solution, the market and the mission. So these are the 4 components of the executive summary. Visuals that help the reader see important information, including highlight charts, market share projections, and customer demand charts, are sometimes very, very important component of the executive summary, right? So there is no specific format to this summary or the product proposal as a whole, but there are certain components which are very, very important. You need to make sure that those are covered. So when you write a report, you have the table of contents, you have the list of figures, like you have chapters, bibliography. So very similarly, this product proposal has all these various components which are essential, right? So this is as far as the executive summary is concerned. Second part is business concept. So the business concept shows evidence that a product is viable and capable of fulfilling an organization's particular needs, right? This section articulates the vision of the company, how you plan to meet the unique needs of the customer, and how you plan to make money doing that. So these 2 things are very, very important. Here you could sense that it is talking about value propositions, how you are adding value to the lives of the customers through your product or service offering, and how you are going to make money out of this. All of these we have done throughout our customer discovery, like and prototype development and showcasing aspects. So all this information we would already have by the time we reach this end point where we are building the product proposal, right? It also discusses feasibility studies that you have conducted for your products. This includes usability studies, various testing methods, like all the simulated test marketing. So all the feasibility studies as a part of this course which we have learned, and the customer discovery efforts based on the feedback what we have changed and things like that, that needs to come within the business concept, right? Also discusses diagnostic sessions you have had with prospective customers. These are part of the usability testing, simulated test marketing. These are diagnostic sessions, right? Captures and highlights the value proposition in your product or service offerings, right? Very clearly. So you could place them in very different, innovative techniques. Like you could have a proven business concept with 1, 2, 3, and 4. How this and have 4 highlights which are standing out, or have them in form of bullet points or some pictorial representation. That's totally up to you, right? Third is market analysis. This is something typically the investors would be really interested to look at, right? This defines the target market so that you can position your business to get its share of sales. So it very clearly defines what is your target market. So if you're thinking of terms which I have mentioned quite a bit during the different components of the course, that many times we tend to think that I could build a product which is basically very generic, and this could have a target market which is the entire general public. That's typically not the case. Through the systematic method of customer discovery, what we realize is there is a very specific niche target market who would actually be interested in your product and be willing to help you commercialize that, right? So market analysis section basically defines your market, segments your customers, right? We have already learnt about these techniques. Who are your customers? What are the segments? Is it adult of a certain age group like elderly population, or is it like some parents of somebody, like, so it depends, like on case by case basis, right? Projects your market share, positions your product and services. We have talked about product positioning. Where does it position itself? Discusses pricing and promotions. These are very, very important. Customers or investors do not want to be in dark where they do not know about the pricing or what you are going to hit the market with. So the more transparency or more amount of clear information you present, the better it is in terms of market analysis. And we have talked about how to price a particular product or service right, like, so it discusses the pricing and promotions, and also identifies communication, sales and distribution channels. If you look at majority of this, we've covered as a part of customer discovery and the various lectures in the sales and marketing module, right? So this could be a possible market analysis template, which basically shows the total available market. This is, we are looking at the right into this chart, right? And out of this total available market, you have a serviceable available market where your product can actually fit in, right? Then you have a target market, that market which is where you have people who are willing to buy your product. That's separate from what could be a possible market. So one is a possible market, that's a serviceable market, then there is a target market, and finally you have a possible market share within this, right? It could be as less as let's say 1% or even lower, right? So you may have bigger players in the market, and what you envision is to have a very smaller section of the market, or you could be a very unique player in the market where you feel like the entire target market belongs to you, and this is based on systematic analysis, right? Like through customer discovery and product showcasing, not by just our beliefs and thoughts, right? So that's how you project the market analysis. The next is management team. The management team is very, very essential here. You want to mention the organizational structure, right? Highlight the hierarchy and outline responsibilities and decision making powers, right? Not only investors but customers are also interested in knowing this, right? That do you have some experienced people in your team? Are you doing everything by yourself? Then that is not a very trustworthy company where one person is doing all the jobs, right? You need a team of people who can take care of different responsibilities. Like, so if you have an app development based platform which you're trying to sell, then basically you need a customer service to look at it, you need an app developer, you need a management expert who can really sell this or market this, right? So at least this 3 or 4 folks are important, right? So you need to highlight, as per the management team is concerned, the track record of the company's managers. If you look at several offerings like of hospitals and insurance, since like you have people's picture with very clear highlights on what is their experience. Like for a doctor, you may see like they have performed like 300 plus surgeries, or they have been experienced with this and that for the past 7 years or 20 years, like whatever it be, like, right? Like, so it should clearly highlight the track record. You may also offer details about key employees, including qualifications, experiences, sometimes some nice qualifications, like if they're from the top universities, right? Or they have had experience in the top firms, that's an add-on, right? Or outstanding skills which could add a competitive edge to the image of your business. So the members who are part of your business actually creates the image of your business. So many a times startup founders are not looking for this specifically, like they are just trying to be the one man show or just have a two people kind of company and just run their business. But many a times this may not be a very nice environment to gather funding, right? You want to rope in a few top experts, maybe some professors from the institutes if you're working in a very specific area which needs research, or some top healthcare experts from the industry, right? Or even in certain cases some retired experts, right, who have like 35-40 years of experience and they have been retired from the job, but they're very popular in their field. So these kind of people add a competitive edge to your product and your business offering as a whole, right? The working structure which highlights how your management team will operate within your defined organizational structure. This is also very important. The expertise which highlights the business expertise of your management and senior team. You may also include special knowledge of budget control, personnel management, public relations and strategic planning, right? So here is a template where you have the hierarchy where there is a person who is a financial advisor, and below that this is CEO, editor, right, marketing head, graphic design. You could have different company structures. Typically you have the board of directors, and then CEO, CO, then CTO, like then you have certain set of managers who are there and a group of people who are working underneath. So that structure has to be very defined. So it's not about the bottom management who people want to know about, right? It's about the top management that are these folks like experts in their fields, right? Or if you can get hold of a doctor, right, like a very renowned doctor, or in certain cases even a less renowned doctor from a very renowned institute, so these are some options which you may have to really get a nice product proposal with a nice management team. So we are going to end the session here and pick it up from here exactly in the next session. All right, so thank you all.